This is the plaintiff, Jean-Claude Felder. He says he brought his truck into the defendant's shop for a tune-up. A few days later, it overheated, and he brought the truck back and was charged another $1,500 for some additional repairs it needed. A few days later, it overheated again, and when he brought it back, the defendant told him he now needed a new engine. A new engine? Why'd this guy charge him thousands of dollars and string him along when he knew he was going to need a new engine? He's suing for $5,000, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, John Sow. He says the truck had almost 200,000 miles on it, and it was in bad shape when the plaintiff brought it in. The plaintiff drove it another 400 miles after he made the repairs. Then he blew the head gasket on the engine. Well, he's sorry. He has no way of knowing when an engine's gonna blow. The truck's 16 years old, and he's not responsible for paying the plaintiff a penny. He's accused of making unnecessary repairs.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff brought his truck to the defendant's shop, says he was totally scammed, was overcharged, and the car got screwed up to boot. The defendant says it had 200,000 miles, so give me a break. It's the case of blowing a gasket.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, man.
Jean-Claude Felder?
Yes.
You are suing Vanderbilt Auto Care, represented by John Sow. You're the owner?
Yes.
Okay, for $5,000 that you say they should pay you for lost wages and faulty repairs and aggravation. Okay, how old's your car?
It's a 2000, so it's like maybe 14, 15 years old.
Chevrolet pickup?
Yes.
Okay, how many miles does it have?
196,000 miles.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of miles.
Yeah, it is a lot of miles. You get it that way or you use it that way?
I got it that way, but it's a Chevy. It's a workhorse, so it's, you know.
What do you do that you drive so much?
I'm a plumber.
All right, so what happened?
So first, I got the tune-up. Then over the weekend, it broke down. It overheated.
Okay. Now, all right, that was not a problem you were having before?
No, I had no problems before of it overheating, no nothing at all.
Okay, so your car overheats and then what?
So it overheats, so I called John. I said, John, my car's overheating. So he said, okay, bring it back. So I brought it back to him Monday. He kept my truck for 5 days. I kept him calling. I said, John, everything's okay? Yeah, I'm doing more work. I'm doing more work to it. So the 5th day I got it back, he charged me another $1,500.
Okay, but during that time, he's telling you what he's going to change or do, right?
Yeah.
And what was it that was wrong with the car?
He said he changed some parts in the truck, like a head gasket and some other parts that he changed.
What did you do? That's the first time it was a tune-up.
The first time is tune-up.
So when he brought it to you the second time, why did the car overheat? Were you able to determine that?
Yes.
What was it?
Intake manifold gasket was leaking. Antifreeze filled up in the crankcase.
Okay, does that have anything to do with your original repair?
No.
Were you anywhere near those parts in your original repair?
No.
Do you feel that this truck with 190,000 miles at some point isn't worth fixing, or no, you don't feel that way?
When the truck came back the third time, the head gasket blown. That is when I stopped and told Mr. Claude
I'm sorry.
Hold on one second.
And told Mr. Claude that it's beyond, it's going to keep breaking. Get an engine if you want to keep the truck.
Okay. The first time you brought it was what date?
129.
Okay. And then when you had to bring it back when?
I brought it back that Monday to him. I don't know the exact date.
Do you have paperwork for every trip?
Yeah, I have every, yeah.
Can you pull the paperwork?
Yes. My question is that when you do a tune-up, you put it on a machine. It should tell you if the engine is bad or not.
I don't know. When you do a tune-up, do you hook it up to a machine that tells you if the engine is bad or not?
There's no such machine that will tell you engine is bad or not.
Okay.
But when the second time I brought it to him, he changed parts on my truck and everything, and it worked good for 1 week, then it broke down again.
Okay. What is going on with your truck right now?
I'm getting a new engine.
How much is a new engine costing you?
$1,500.
And is somebody who's...
Yes, I have another mechanic installing it.
Okay.
So it's cost me another $1,000 to put the engine in.
What evidence did you see? What happened after you picked it up wait a minute, let me ask my question. On February 5th, you pick it up, and then how many days pass before something bad happens again?
A week.
Okay, and how did you break down? The car just stopped? Or-
It overheated again. The same problem that I brought it back to him before.
Okay, so is it accurate that he calls you 10 days later and tells you it overheated again?
Yeah, the truck was towed back in. One day in the morning I went to work and I was told the truck was overheated. That was what it was brought for. Okay, go ahead. After I examined it, the head gasket is blown, and that's when I told Mr. Claw that this is due for another engine.
Okay, I have a question for you. What in the second trip, didn't you replace the head gasket?
No, we replaced intake manifold.
That was the
gasket.
first trip, right?
No, the first trip is the tune-up and the exhaust flange.
Okay, and then the second trip?
Was the intake manifold gasket and some brake work.
And then what happened the third trip?
The head gasket blown.
And that's totally separate than the others?
Totally separate from the
Okay,
others.
do you have any evidence from your new mechanic? I haven't finished my sentence.
Oh, sorry, I'm
if
sorry.
If you're thinking about what you want to say and you've already taken the breath, then I can't finish what I'm going to say because I'm worried you're going to choke. Hold on, just listen to me. All right.
Okay, so if you had to use the odometer to figure out what magic number is it when you sell the car, what's the magic number?
I would say definitely at least less than 100,000.
So 100,000 miles you sell the car.
Definitely.
Is that right? 100,000?
Yeah.
Why 100,000? Just a nice round number?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a feeling you might give me the answer from somebody who's driven a lot of cars.
I would say 45 to 65,000.
Really? Why 65? That seems low to me.
No, because that's when a car starts breaking down, the engine starts.
No. I know what you're saying. It starts breaking down because that's when it comes out of warranty.
Yeah, that's true too.
Right? Okay. Going inside the courtroom.
Do you have any evidence for me that says that these repairs were unnecessary?
No. Well, he told me that the parts was Chinese parts.
Well, what does that mean?
And saying that the parts wasn't good that he put in my truck.
Give me his number. Give me the guy's number. In fact, you call him. You call him and get him on the line while you're doing that. What nationality were the parts that you were using in his car?
Well,
Intake manifold gaskets are American-made, AC Delco.
Okay, was any part, quote,
brake
Chinese
caliper,
made?
American.
Was any part Chinese made? Was there anything that was manufactured?
No, I don't see Mr. Lee or Mr. Chan there.
Are those the two gentlemen who make parts that people use? Okay.
I assume so.
Okay. All right, no, but wait, I'm serious though. Are any parts not American that you put in there? I'm just, not that I think it's important, I just want to know.
No, everything is American.
Everything was
Carlos, how
American
you doing?
made.
I'm in the People's Court. Can you speak to the judge to tell her what happened to my vehicle with my engine?
Put him on speaker, hand him to my bailiff.
Yeah.
What's his name? Who am I speaking to?
This is Manny.
Manny, how are you, Manny? This is Judge Miliang from the People's Court.
Okay.
So when you saw it, what was wrong with it?
The head, all the antifreeze was going through the engine.
The antifreeze was going through the engine. Okay, now I have a question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
What they did on that day when they did the work, they didn't replace the engine, obviously. What they did instead was they replaced the worn intake set, flushed the system. In your opinion, was that work that was not necessary or work that could have been necessary and might have fixed it?
In my opinion, we should put it for the intake, but after put the intake, you got to check before you give it to the customer. That's it.
So I don't know. So I guess my question to you is, if this car comes into you, would you have tried the same repair first to see if it works because it was cheaper? Or would you know, hey, this engine is a problem?
Well, for me, I will check, put the intake manifold first. But if it's doing the same thing, I got to tell the engine.
Right. Was it reasonable for this other mechanic to have tried the intake manifold to see if that would fix it?
Everybody has different kind of opinion, Me, myself, I don't do that. Sometimes it won't fix the problem.
Ah, got it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. So I have kind of two problems going on here. On the one hand, you have a brand new intake manifold, and that's worth something. On the other hand, it didn't fix your problem, and you have to go out and spend another $2,500, and that's worth something. In his opinion, he says everybody has a different way of doing this, but I would not have done that because I would have considered that a waste of money. You're suing for Oh, that's interesting. You're suing for everything, including the tune-up? You want the tune-up back? You want time and aggravation? You want an extra $2,000 for lost wages?
I'm a licensed master plumber in New Jersey. I lost a job because my
Get another
vehicle was
ride,
down.
like everybody else. If you're a brain surgeon and you lost $50,000 in a surgery, I would expect you not to sue for $50,000 extra against a mechanic. I would expect you to get a ride. I would expect you to make other arrangements. I would expect you, in fact, to rent a car for $100 instead of suing for $2,000. So that's kind of bogus, right? Okay, no and no. So the question is, what if anything of this second repair should you not have had to pay? I understand you, and I hear your witness's testimony that, hey, this was a large expense that didn't fix the problem, so I shouldn't have to pay for any of it. But I also hear him, and you've got a brand new thing now, and your car is running around. No, this is the part where I rule, and you stop breathing.
Okay, no
So here's
problem.
what's going to happen. I'm going to order him to return a portion of that bill. $800 verdict for the plaintiff. I think that's a fair result. Good luck, folks.
Both sides.
So the plaintiff gets $800 back, not the $5,000 he was seeking. Mr. Sue, how do you feel about this? You heard the other mechanic talking to the judge.
I respect the judge's decision. However, the problem with the vehicle is intake manifold gasket. At the time I examined the vehicle, eventually the car came back with a head gasket, which is orange and apple.
You explained all that, yeah.
Ultimately, it's the old car and is due for new engine.
All righty. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your testimony. You have some documents to sign. Mr. Felder, if you'll step out here. Well, you got a portion back. Certainly not everything you were seeking. How do you feel about it?
At least I got something back, but still, he's it wasn't right. He knew that the engine was going bad, and he just stuck me for more money.
So you have a vehicle now that has a new engine. And how many miles on the vehicle?
196,000 miles.
So how much longer do you think it's going to continue going?
With a new engine, it doesn't make a difference with the miles. So long you
That's a long. You got a lot of miles on that car right now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good luck with it. Okay. Harvey, what do you think about that?
Okay, Doug, here's the deal. A lot of states have, they license auto repair shops. Go to the licensing agency if you have a gripe, because sometimes if you file a complaint and the heat is on, sometimes if they're doing the wrong thing, the repair shop will do the right thing.